Nissan is to show its what they call MAXOUT EV sports car concept later in next week. This article comes from Inside EVs. It also includes a link, which we'll include in our show notes, an accommodating live stream link through the Nissan channel for the reveal, which will happen again middle of next week. So, what they're saying here, for those who don't recall, is that last year Nissan had a EV concept purely as a digital rendering, which they debuted or shared with the world. Right now, they're saying here is that digital rendering is now in the flesh, in the metal. It's a physical concept, and this is what they're going to want to debut, happening this upcoming Wednesday, February 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's quite something to look at, honestly. This is going to be an electric roadster. Let's say here, powered by Nissan's advanced e-Force dual motor setup. Essentially, it's all-wheel drive, kind of a configuration. It's making 304 horsepower and 501 pound-feet of torque. It says here that I've got pictures actually. Now, do you remember us sharing this, Miles? If you recall, I want to get
Yeah,
your
I remember
feedback
us
on
kind of
this.
glossing over it, but yeah, I mean the buzz is right now that Nissan's going to try to put something sports related out in an EV. So, all right, so give me the meat and potatoes. Come on, give me the
Okay.
veggies. You've already given me the veggies. Give me the meat and potatoes. Come on.
All right. So for what they're saying or what they're advertising so far regarding this concept that we'll see here, it is a two-seater roadster. Again, an all-wheel drive EV configuration, and they're saying here that the chassis construction is a reported race car-like ultra lightweight framework. I gotta say though, personally, I mean, I'm not being
You said car like.
cynical.
Come on,
Race car like,
and
race
I'm not
car
trying to be
like.
cynical with you,
Yeah.
but
I when they always okay, so the reason why I say that is because when they someone says ultralight construction race car like, most concepts are, but when you actually get to the production version, it's not always
it's all
the
cardboard and
same
fiberglass until it's
situation.
real. It's a real
Titanium
fact.
and carbon, yeah, yeah, and it's gonna come back,
But I
yeah,
mean, we
not the
shouldn't.
same.
Yeah. But again, so when is this release supposed to happen?
Well, again, this upcoming Wednesday at 8 p.m. This live stream debut through Facebook, and I believe it's going to be debuted, in person at the I would imagine the Nissan Japan headquarters, something like that as a debut, similar to what Nissan's been doing in the past. Of course, they have an exhibit somewhere, typically in Japan, and then meanwhile the YouTube channel is streaming live to the world.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
Two-seater roadster. I was looking at this thing and I was trying to just get a feeling from it. What is it? Again, what does it look like to me? To me, this looks like an EV S2000.
You
Uh,
know what this reminds me of?
what's
And
that?
I don't know, people might remember this movie, and I'm going to date myself. There was a movie with Charlie Sheen called The Wraith. And if you look at the
Ooh,
back tail of it, I mean, it's missing the wing, and Dodge put that vehicle out, but it kind of reminds me of that. It's obviously the roof's chopped off this sucker, but I don't know. It kind of reminds me of that if you put a top on it, like, and blacked it all and murdered it out all black. But I don't know. Of course, that vehicle is a little more straight, but I'm just saying some of the front end of it. But
it kind of has that Challenger-esque concept from a Dodge, you might say that
maybe I could see where
short,
you're going with
wide
that.
nose.
So
What I thought was is that Nissan did not make a two-door, uh, two-seater roadster. Again, reminding me of like an S2000 phase. Like, if Nissan made an S2000 within the last 20 years, this might be a variation, obviously, and this might
as
be
long
Nissan's chance to
as long
do
as
it.
they design it as a convertible from the beginning, then you won't have structural integrity issues. Like, you build an S2000, that's the beauty of that car. That vehicle was built initially as a convertible.
As a
When you
convertible.
take a car and you chop off the roof, you're just adding 2 or 300 pounds to this vehicle just to get some kind of rigidity back into it because you just have that deflection. It's crazy. I have these old like VHS tapes. It talks about like the 300ZX and the 240SX and how like after they chopped off the roofs, they showed the deflection in the chassis, and it was like, It was
Again,
nuts. Anyway,
coming as a convertible first. Yeah, it wasn't an
come as a
afterthought.
convertible first. Don't do
Nope.
it as an afterthought, and you got me. You got me interested. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I did.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I did want to share one more important detail that was mentioned in this article. It was said here that Nissan may wait, although we're seeing this concept now, Nissan may wait to produce this concept until its solid state batteries become viable.
Yeah.
And based on our previous articles that we've covered, solid state batteries from Nissan won't enter production any earlier than 2028. So we're about
Oh
five
wow.
years out.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I
2028.
thought it was like 3 years out. Man, yeah, damn.
Wishful thinking. Yeah, yeah. Well, they're working on let's say the R&D phase, not only for the battery but for the production of the battery. There's a
Well,
lot of
it's the
R&D
world
that's
we
going
live in
into
right
that.
now with everybody, all EV manufacturers from the top down are all feeling the bite on that.
Yep.
So,
And
let's take some notes. I did want to kind of say something that. So Haley said, "Me watching IMSA all week, waiting on Nismo to feature a race car one day, maybe
mm,
soon." Man. John Hood said, "Not as pretty as the convertible Murano."
I think it's sarcasm, or obviously that's funny because if you've seen a convertible Murano or the Cabriolet Murano, it's it's hideous, man. It's going to be one of those hipster cars in 20 years, if not, if it isn't already, because of how
It's a
rare.
cabriolet. All
It's
right.
it's not
So.
it's not sold. It's rare because nobody bought them. That's the
Oh,
thing.
okay. Bird said NMCC for the win. Okay, all right.
Mhm.
Sean reminds me of those wood shoes they sell in the Netherlands. Oof,
The
rough.
clogs, or no, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I think they're called. Let me see
Mm.
here. And John again. Someone said they thought the new RZ34 has that giant dinner plate gas door because Nissan might have considered an EV drivetrain. That is false. I think it's because it was on the original train of the 370, and then they had to re alternate that quarter. I don't know. That's my thought, but we'll
Mm.
fight about it one day when I see you, John, and we'll talk about it more. So, and it would make sense for a charging port. I kind of think that too, but I don't think
Well,
they're
yeah.
ahead on the Z's just yet. I think they're.
I I
I
remember.
feel like this new Z is going to come out version one,
Mhm.
version two, and then after that, I think you might be in the talking that game a little bit later. That might be right.
Yeah,
So
from what you were talking about, that the location and size of the new Z gas cap cover, I remember hearing about that, saying about the original. They had to match. The designers had to meet the same geometry
correct,
of the filler
where the quarter
tank
neck and everything, without
with the
changing
new exterior.
the inner quarter sheet metal. It actually that's how
Yeah,
it been,
it
and
does
that's the
look
way I
quite
say it because
comical, though. Yeah.
I looked up when we saw it finally. Let me see here.
Yes.
John, last one said, I also heard it was necessary because of the fender bulge. Well, sometimes you have to shift
Mm.
around things for a good bulge, but it is the way things are.
Jesus,
So,
Miles.
anything else that you need to kind of comment on this one?
Um, the last thing I had here regarding the solid state battery, though, like I said, production of that solid state battery wouldn't be any earlier than 2028, according to reports. Uh, we've covered the solid state battery, by the way, and relating to the sports car. So when I think of solid state battery and sports car, I think this battery better have some benefits, much less. I'm thinking lighter weight because we all know that EV batteries are just super heavy. From what we've reported in the past, though, solid state batteries work, they say in this article, in theory, because they charge more quickly, they hold more power, they last longer than lithium ion batteries, and then the batteries are actually are actually more affordable to manufacture, though. But I did not see any specification or detail saying that they were lighter. So um, I almost feel like when Nissan says they need an ultralight chassis, it's because they're trying to take compensate or balance out the weight of that battery is ultimately going to
Absolutely. All
put in there. Yeah.
manufacturers have been doing it. It's not just Nissan. All manufacturers have been doing that forever. That's